these few verses here, and then we'll talk about them. Verse 13 says, "Come now, you who say, today or tomorrow we will go into such and such a town and spend a year there, make trade, make a profit. Yet you do not know what tomorrow will bring. What is your life? For you are a mist that appears for a time and then vanishes. Instead, you ought to say, if the Lord wills, we will live and do this or that. As it is, you boast in your arrogance. All such boasting is evil. So whoever knows the right thing to do and fails to do it, for him it is sin." James is going over this general overview of what it is to live before God. We've talked about a whole bunch of specific things on how we ought to live. In fact, last week we talked about judgment, and that was a very particular kind of judgment. James focuses on very specific things, and yet here he goes to a big, broad overview. So if we're going to look at this section, we have to understand that James is zooming out. He's taking a 10,000-foot look at how our daily lives ought to run, and what we ought to think about as we go through our daily walk. And so he's going to give us a contrast between what we are doing now, what these people are doing now, and what we ought to do in our daily lives. And so he's speaking to people who are believers. Make note of this. He's not talking to pagans. He's talking to believers, people who know the truth. And yet, we see that they have maybe a shifted or wrong mentality. When we look at verse 13, it says, "Come now, you who say, today or tomorrow we will go to such and such a town and spend a year there and trade and make a profit." We have folks who have a business design. They have a purpose. They have a desire. I've known many people, in fact I've had friends in my different groups and studies who are so dead set and determined that they are going to make themselves into a success. I don't know how many people I've heard that, by the time I'm 40, I'm going to be a millionaire. There's this determination that we're going to make it happen. We're going to do everything we can to be successful. And this is kind of the mentality that we see in verse 13. I'm going to go to this town. We're going to go and be successful. We're going to set up trade. We're going to do everything that we want to do business-wise. And that will make us the money we want. And this is the mentality that they go into their business dealings with. But have you noticed something? They've left out a key piece of their discussion. They've missed their God. They haven't included him on it.